Hold up.
I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're staying safe at home. Today I want to talk about anxiety. We've spoken about anxiety for the longest time. Anxiety is something that's natural. Anxiety is a survival mechanism. If we don't get anxious, we cannot take the right action. So anxiety is part of every human being, the fight and flight response. How do we move into the fight and flight response? With the trigger of anxiety. So anxiety isn't bad. It's necessary for survival. Anxiety becomes bad for us when we try to control it, when we become a slave to it, when it starts getting the better of us. Today I want to talk about death in the most non-spiritual, the non-philosophical way. Death is a very sensitive topic. Everyone fears it. Not many people want to talk about it ever. They call it a sensitive subject. There's a lot of fear around death that builds our anxiety, that makes it difficult for us to cope with loss when we lose our loved ones, when we lose family members, when we lose friends. When we talk about death, we've been seeing death for the last 8 years, every single morning. Wake up, WhatsApp, a couple of patients have died in the night, brain tumors, cancers over the years, all of that stuff. The point is, death begins, the process of dying begins from the time we're born. There are certain facts in life which when we relate to and we accept, it makes the process easier. When I say easier, it doesn't mean without the emotions of pain and grief. Of course there's going to be those emotions. Nothing's so easy that it doesn't come with emotions. But we need to face the consequences of everything that we're fearful for. When people say, Luke, how do I overcome my fear? My question to them, are you willing to face your worst consequence first in your mind? Because when you're able to face your worst consequence in your mind, you start to diffuse your fear automatically. You can never be motivated to get rid of your fears. You can never be inspired to get rid of your fears. It's self-work that you have to do. You have to face the consequence, but most people are afraid of facing the consequence. Fear is a shield that we use to protect ourselves from disappointment, protect ourselves from sadness, protect ourselves from negative emotions, protect ourselves from loss. We use fear as a shield and we get comfortable with that shield. So when the actual incident happens, like death, it breaks many people apart. Of course, we're not looking at death today in a pessimistic way, nor am I saying to look at it in an optimistic way. All I'm trying to say is death is going to happen to every one of us. Sadly, not sadly, our parents, our loved ones, our children, our pets, our friends, it's going to happen, whether we like it or not. Now, I asked my 7-year-old daughter, and after that 5 children, because I wanted to see what they had in their mind. I told my daughter Tiana, you know that at some point, everyone is going to die. Everyone. We don't know when, we don't know how, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yep, her eyes filled up with tears. I said, knowing that as a fact, and you can never change that fact, what would you do? What would you do differently? She thought for a while and she said, I'll just live every day fully. She said, I don't want to waste time being angry. She said, then I don't want to do a Monday to Friday sugar-free. I want to eat sugar every day. So I stopped over there because she was getting a little too creative. But the point was, she said, I'll make the most of today. I asked 5 other kids in the same age group. Okay, with the parents' permission, of course. Not too many parents would like their kids being asked this question. All the kids said the same thing. If that's going to happen, enjoy today. This is from the innocence of a child. The answer doesn't change for adults. No matter how deep we get into spirituality and religion, we cannot change the fact that death will happen. And so what does that inspire us to do? Reflect on it right now. If you know that anyone or yourself can die anytime. But we don't want to face that thought. We don't want to give it attention because already fear as a shield is coming up. We don't want to face disappointment. We don't want to try to feel good about life right now. People are scared about feeling good. Sometimes when things are happening well in people's life, you know what they start saying? They say, I'm on a good phase. When's it going to end? It's too good to be true. Why is it too good to be true? Don't you deserve it? Don't you deserve to feel good? But again, people are already protecting themselves with the fear that the good days will end, with the fear that the good times will end. So they start using a shield of fear to protect them from disappointment, from rejection, from possible loss. And that fear robs us from living life. Of course, if someone dies, we are going to go through pain and through grief, and we don't know how we're going to handle it. But it teaches us today two things: live life to the fullest, meaningfully. And number two, knowing that death is going to happen, and it can happen. Some of us may have sick parents right now. Some of us may have people on the deathbed, whatever it is. Don't be stuck in the fear of the emotion. You know that everyone has to die. Accept it. You can't be in control of that. Trying to be in control of that is stupid because you cannot change that. So what's the next best thing that you can do? Take action. What action can you take? There is always action for you to take. Always action. I'm going to repeat the story. I spoke about this at a corporate event, death. A few days later, I had this person message me on social media. Luke, you said there's always action to be taken. My father's on his deathbed. The doctors have given him 24 hours. What action is there? I said, take your family and be with your father. Make the last 24 hours spectacular for him. That's the action you can take, because you can't change the fact what the doctor said and that death's going to come. If he survives 48 hours, it's a miracle. Be grateful. But now the action that you can take is be with your father. You shouldn't even be on social media messaging me. You should be with your father right now. There is always action to be taken. But the emotion gets the better of us. So there is emotion and emotional drama. Okay? Both of them are negative and positive in their own way. An emotion is an emotion. You can't change it. Someone says something to you, you either have a positive emotion or a negative emotion. Emotional drama is the behavior before we accept the emotion. So, okay, fine, we know someone's going to die. There's emotional drama. Oh no, how? He's so young. This is happening. That's happening. Okay, fine. Go through the emotional drama. No one's trying to take away from your feelings. But at some point, you got to stop the drama, be okay with the emotion, and take the next best action. In order to move forward in life, there is always an action that we have to take. Always an action that we have to take. I want to give you another story that I learned from the animal kingdom. About 5 years ago, I started my car in the morning and I was reversing it. It was winter time. Okay? I didn't think I need to look under my car and see if there was an animal, a cat or a dog behind it. There was a little baby kitten and I crushed the kitten. As I was reversing the car, I went over the kitten. I felt I was going over something with life. I felt the bones crush. Okay, I got out of the car and I looked. There was a crushed kitten. Eyes popped out, all of that stuff. I just sat in my car. I didn't know what to do. I was like overwhelmed with emotion. And I saw the mother cat. She came around and she squealed for a while. She cried for a while. She made those squealing sounds for a while. And then she walked away. Then the crows came. They circled for a while. They came, they punctured the body, removed the intestines. And that was it. The cycle of life and death completed right in front of your eyes. The cats moved back, all of that stuff. My whole point is, what do we learn from that? There is a cycle of nature, and we as human beings are part of that cycle of nature. What I'm telling you from that story is we have to move on. I'm not saying you will move on with happiness and joy. I'm saying move on in terms of action. What is the next action that you can take? How can you keep emotional drama from robbing you of that time and possible action that you can take? So the whole point about death, yes, it scares us. We don't want to talk about it because it's unknown. We don't know. Some people go too deep into spirituality and they start thinking they're bad karmas and all of that. To each his own. I don't know. I don't have the knowledge or the experience to even debate about that. The point is, death is unknown and uncertain. And we don't have to overthink it. But that inspires us to live fully every day. Forgive, forget, let go of envy, let go of anger. These are easy things for me to say. It's not difficult to do. I will go through those emotions as well. But death reminds us and makes it easier for us to say, what's the point? Everyone's going to die. Let go of this property case. Let go of this jealousy. Fine, he wants it his way. Fine, let him win. Let me put my ego and pride down. It's okay because everyone is going to die. Okay, let me let go of some things. Let me accept some things because everyone is going to die. Like I said, it's not easy. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. So when people say, Luke, inspire us to let go of negative emotions, I say, remember death. Remember death. None of us know what's going to happen in the next 1 minute, the next second, the next 1 hour. That's how life is. And when something happens, all of a sudden, people are like, oh, wow, whatever. You know, emotional drama, it's fine, it's your feeling. But how soon can you move from emotional drama to action without taking away from the respect of your feelings? So remind yourself of that. Remind yourself every time you want to have that cold war in your relationship. Remind yourself every time you put your kids down, or you try to make their whole life around studies and only achievement and all of those things. Remind yourself about death when you don't spend that time with your parents or your friends or whatever. Remind yourself about death when you find entertainment and social media is taking away all of your life and you're not spending it on the right things. Because the biggest thing that people suffer from when death happens spontaneously is regret. And regret doesn't allow you to get out of grief too quickly. What is grief? Grief is an emotion, and it also comes with a lot of regret. I wish I could have spent more time with my mom. I wish I could have spent more time. I wish I never said this. I didn't know he was suffering. I wouldn't have said that. I wish we didn't spend 10 years on a property fight. I wish we didn't have a court case that went on so long. But that's the reality of the world. Court cases will happen. Fights with parents will happen. Fights in relationships will happen. It's real. My talk isn't going to take away any of that. But use death as a reminder to define how rich you want your life to be every single day. Do not forget gratitude. Do not forget that we don't know when we're going to go. A lot of people think they're in control. You get more money, you get more designation, you get more power, and you think you're in control of a lot of things. You may be in control of a lot of things because of power, wealth, money, and all of that stuff, but you're not in control of death. You're not in control of death, ever. So remember that. And it's not a bad topic to speak to your children and stuff, because it helps them realize and value life more. Value life more. The other day I was counseling a young teenager, hooked on to video games, all of that stuff. I don't have a problem with video games unless you're hooked on to it. And we went straight to the topic of death. I said, what do you want to do in life? He said, I want to do this, 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 this. I said, you spend 8 hours on video games every single day. And what if death comes tomorrow, day after another day, and you don't have a chance to live your life dreams that you just told me about? The point is, use death as a positive motivation, inspiration to change the course of your life. You're stuck in grief right now. You're stuck in a broken relationship. You're hurt because someone betrayed you or left you or whatever. Go through the emotion, but move to action. How soon can you move to action? A lot of people will say, yes, I'm depressed. I need chemicals. My serotonin isn't bad. I respect that. But even if you're on anti-anxiety medicine and depression medicine, you gotta take action. A lot of people use medicine also as a shield. It's good for them, but they think, I'm on medication. I can't do anything else. Yes, you can do something else. It's difficult. It's going to be 10 times more difficult than someone who's... I'm not taking away from your depression, but I am saying there is always action to take, and it may be one small step at a time, one small win at a time. But you gotta take action if you want to change the course of your life. You cannot stay stuck and expect different results. You cannot stay stuck and expect movement in life. You have to move to action. And that is where it comes with anxiety and death. When people are anxious all the time, you're not taking action, or you're not facing your worst fears. Why aren't you facing your worst fears? Because you're using fear as a shield to protect yourself from disappointment, fear, and loss. Whoever said that you are entitled to a life of no disappointment? Whoever said that you're entitled to a life of no loss, of no expectations not being met? These are all false beliefs that we hold ourselves to. And when it happens, the opposite happens. We crumble. We emotionally crumble. Which is why we have to learn life the right way. Not the emotional way, the right way. And it is so important for us to face our fears, the consequences in our mind, and then move to action. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.